Hello. Apparently having a monkey smoking a fake cigar is ugly and digitatable. Digitatable. I don't think that's a word. What's happening? Phil said don't start early, but I didn't. And I don't know where he is. Which means he'll show up. How's everybody doing? Can't do anything on the internet apparently without somebody somewhere getting upset about it. Because nobody has a sense of humor anymore. Including the South Carolina government, which is kind of what I want to talk about tonight a good bit. As most of us, if not all of us here know, there is some legislation that may or may not get passed tomorrow, and that will be flat out banning exotic venomous in the state of South Carolina. That includes, elapids, pit vipers, all that good stuff. Heloderma, boiga, boom slangs, twig snakes, stiletto snakes, pretty much all, well, not pretty much all crotalids, all elapids, sea snakes, and it pretty much came out of nowhere. So, as I'm sure, like I said, most of you heard, it was originally a pig bill. Didn't even read the pig part, honestly, because that's not really my concern at the moment. And apparently, from what I was told by Nick Bettini, who talked to Phil Goss at USARC, as long as a bill is, if it's a wildlife-related amendment to a like if it's an amendment that's relative to the bill that's being put through, they can just tack on pretty much whatever they want and not have to run it by anybody or anything like that. According to them, SCDNR had no idea. I'm very skeptical about that. And a lot of I've heard through the grapevine that some of the the representatives and senators didn't even know that it was happening, and they just signed it, not knowing that was on there, which tells me they ain't reading these bills when they sign them. That's crap. It's complete bullshit. It's your job to read through these things and know what you're about to put your name on. And I'm hoping I think there's a slight chance that enough calls and stuff, right? But if you send enough emails and make some phone calls, hopefully McMaster, who is the governor of South Carolina, will send it back for revision. Even then, I do wonder, given how the Tegu thing went, where a lot of people called in, a lot of people made a lot of noise. They went ahead and did it anyways. So we'll see. I'm not super hopeful about the outcome, honestly. Like I said, I think there's a slight chance that maybe something can happen. But we'll see, because I think even if it does go back for revision, I don't think it's going to just stop there. Nice, Johnny. I think it'll end up coming back. I think they'll say, yeah, we're willing to compromise. And then we'll say, okay, this is what we think is fair as far as maybe a permit system being put in place or whatever. And they'll probably come back and, there's two versions of this bill. One has a grandfathering clause, one doesn't. The one that does, you can pay $100 per animal per year to keep it. Cannot breed it, cannot sell it. And then there is, you have to register those animals with the state. So picture, a lot of information about it, like the animal itself, And that also gives DNR permission to pretty much drop in and check on your stuff at any time they want. So I think if it ends up being a permit system, I think it's going to be something similar to that. I wouldn't be surprised. So I have the Boiga. We'll see how tomorrow goes. I'm still right now. I'm banking on getting them sold or traded or something. Because if it does end up going back, like I said, I don't think the outcome's going to be exactly fair or what we're looking for. So just probably going to get rid of them and move on. Honestly, it sucks because I've been putting a couple years into that project, but it was very shocking because South Carolina was literally one of the most relaxed in terms of herpetoculture and what you could keep. And I mean, we're talking in a span of 3 months, it going from one of the best for the hobby and the industry or community, whatever you want to call it, to being one that's probably one of, like, right up there with some of the other ones as far as being strict, because they just passed the Tegu ban not that long ago. Like I said, a bunch of people called in, a bunch of people said, hey, this isn't Florida, these things aren't going to take over. And they listened, but their minds were made up going in, and so they just passed that without really caring what we had to say. They had enough input from the wildlife federations and all these things that are worried about turkeys and quail and things that feral cats do way more damage to than tegus ever would if they even got established in the state, which they haven't. It's total crap. So figured that would be kind of the main talking point this evening, because I know with all the Florida stuff, we didn't really talk a whole lot about that because Phil didn't really want to, but this is kind of a big deal. A very big deal, actually, because I think whatever happens with this, especially if it goes through, it will set a precedent for other states to look and say, look at what we can do. What are you drinking there, buddy?
I'm drinking Double Shot Energy Starbucks crap in a can. Yep. It was a last-ditch effort to, Sorry for my lateness as usual. I was experiencing technical difficulties. You notice in the last couple episodes of Snakes and Stogies, my monitor has been clicking out?
No.
Well, what it does is it goes black, and then I close the screen and open it again, and it magically appears. Now it just doesn't want to turn on. Nice. So, like, you can hear the ba-boom, and, like, I know that the screen's there, but I don't see anything. So, like, I close it and open it, close and open it. So I do, like, a forced restart. Anyway, I love Apple, but this thing needs a tune-up. So, hello. Did I miss the intro?
Not really. It was just me basically giving some background information on what's going on in my home state. Yo, man.
He says, I have...
You don't pay me my money, I'm going to stab you in the fucking stomach.
He's trying to show me some meme shit that he made. And I'm like, dude, I'm live right now across the world. And he's like, oh shit.
Get out of my room, dude.
Get out of my room.
What are you going to do, stab me? Hey. What are you talking about?
Nothing. I've been so fuck-ocked that I didn't even grab something. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to go back inside and procure said rolled tobacco.
Got a King is Dead from Caldwell.
Oh, dude, I miss Caldwell.
I haven't had one of these in a hot minute. This was probably my favorite cigar that they made. Make. Let's assume still around.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think I have one of those, or I might have a Last Czar in there. I might just need to smoke that tonight. We'll make it a Caldwell night if I can. Actually, I think I have a Blind Man's Bluff, but that's kind of heavy for tonight. Anyway. So what did I miss? Because I'm late as always.
This show is brought to you by Puget Sound Pythons. First of all, go check them out. Give them a follow, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. Riley, you should experiment with more cigars.
Hey, RJ in the house.
Dominique, So I was talking about the basis of what's basically going on in South Carolina right now, and I mean the level of disappointment that I feel in my home state, because that's something I'm very proud of, is being a South Carolinian, because it's such an awesome state. It's always been home. You know, it's and for this to happen the way it has been really disappointing. My trust in, well, not that there was a lot of trust there to begin with, but my trust in my representatives and governing body is dwindled. It's some of them are people that I voted for, and now if I see their name on the bill, and not happening.
Yeah, so. It's difficult, and I think I could speak for Justin when I say that on a lot of our content, if not all of our content, as well as this show specifically, because it is live and it is interactive, right? Whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, what have you, you can chime in, you can talk, we can, commiserate.
Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.
Right, of course. And we try and keep it politics free. We have people of all walks of life on here. We have people with vastly different opinions on here, but the one thing that brings us all together are the animals and the science and the education and just everything that is herpetoculture, right? So it's difficult to talk about political agendas and secret bills and slipping stuff. I don't even think
it's really like a politics thing, because we're not talking about a side one way or the other. It's something that everyone here can relate to, at least maybe they already have, or maybe they will in the future. This is
right. But what I'm getting at is my long spiel is that whether you're red or blue, right or left, you independent, green, whatever, you tend to put some faith, if not your faith, in the people that you vote for, and you feel like your vote has a say. And then you find out that certain things are irrelevant, and that's quite frustrating. At least for me.
The issue here is not. Obviously, you can't see into the future, so you can't say, oh, I hope if I vote for this person that they'll do right by, herpetoculture in the next year.
Right.
So it sucks. It's frustrating. That's putting it lightly, but
yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, it sets a precedent, I think, for other states to say, man, that was easy in South Carolina. All we had to do was X, Y, and Z. No one even knew about it, not even USARK. Because I found out about it Thursday.
Right.
I think it was Thursday. And even the people at USARK had no idea. Like, this was literally probably the sneakiest bit of reptile legislation I've ever seen.
Yeah. And it's not like they put a cage requirement, or not even the fact that they did a license.
Yeah.
Like, oh, now all of a sudden you have to register stuff, you have to have a license. No. It's flat out dynamically changing, because at the end of the day, the powers that be, or the people that fund them, don't want us to have these things.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about countless times of how, to the rest of the world, we're weirdos. You know what I mean? There's documentaries about it, right? So it's difficult to explain to the common folk why we do what we do, but we need to keep doing it. We need to keep trying and not let stuff like this happen, hopefully in the future.
Getting to that sort of aspect of it, of we need to dig our heels in and fight. Of course, this all came out, and a lot of people pipe up and immediately say, oh, I'm moving to Texas, or you should move to Texas, or you should do this. It's like, we're running out of states, people. Like, eventually, we're not going to have any more states to run to. There are no safe zones.
Right.
This, like, eventually, from what I've even heard, Texas isn't even all that great when it comes to this stuff. They're not like some sort of complete free-for-all.
They still have roundups.
And it's like, if you're leaving the state, then you're kind of leaving the people in that hobby in that state
Yeah.
sort of left, hung out to dry. And
right.
Unfortunately, I try to, as we were speaking to Vic about positivity and optimism and stuff, I'm frankly not that optimistic about this at all. I'm fairly certain it'll probably end up passing. I think there's a slim chance that they'll say, go back and revise it. And even then they'll say, yeah, you can keep it. But basically that whole grandfather clause that we had where you pay $100 per animal per year and you register everything with us and DNR can check in on you whenever, that'll be the permit system.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was saying before you got here, like I have the Boiga. I'm probably going to end up, even if the law doesn't go through, I'll probably end up parting with them anyways, because I have very little doubt that they'll come back with the same bill as a separate thing, or they'll come back with a revised edition that does absolutely nothing for us and makes them look like they compromised. So
right.
It's really frustrating. I know we're all, every week it seems like USARK is posting a alert saying, hey, this is what's happening in this state and this time, and we can do phone calls, we can do emails. But I really don't necessarily trust that, because I feel like the email inbox is just a default for all that stuff to go.
Right.
And it doesn't get read. And then the phone calls go to a voicemail that's not attached to anybody's phone.
Yep.
And so it's like, what do we do? I mean, you've seen it with Florida multiple times. I've seen it with the Tegu thing recently, where they literally just said, you guys don't want it. There's like 4 people that are for it. Center for Biological Diversity, one of the wildlife federations in South Carolina, like they called and said, these need to be banned. And we had a ton of people from South Carolina that keep tegus call in, and they basically gave us the middle finger and said, all in favor? Cool. Aye. Bye. It's a mess, and it's actually frightening. It's terrifying, because South Carolina for so long has been pretty easygoing when it comes to herbs and what you can keep.
Right.
The turtle thing happened not that long ago with the crackdown on that, and native wildlife now has some regulations and whatever. But we've literally gone from one end to the other.
Yeah.
And went from being one of the best states for this this hobby to now one of the worst. So
yeah.
You see what Jason said. He said, from what I've heard, the way it was added onto those bills is illegal. According to South Carolina state constitution, it says no riders or amendments to a bill that aren't directly related to the bill. Well, that's the problem. So it was originally a pig bill, and according to Phil Goss, this is what Nick Bettini told me, who's up in Columbia. If it's because it's a wildlife related bill, they can make wildlife related amendments without having to consult with anybody, without having to say anything, without having to have a hearing, without having to jump through all the formalities and hoops they normally would. Whether it's broken down further and says, you can't have an amendment that isn't 100%, like they can do pig amendments, but they can't add anything else. I don't know if that's the case. I was told it wasn't. That doesn't seem right.
No. And if I may cut in real quick, again, keeping politics out of it. Amendments are to amend things, right? They're to fix things that were thought to be one way and turned out that it wasn't good, and they want to change it, or it was already bad and they want to make it better, right? And we're all for amendments because we want to improve as a society. We want to improve on our laws. We want to improve on our legislation, right? But I have several lawyer friends that have basically told me the same thing. They've conveyed to me, and they say, Phil, don't ever vote on an amendment. And your immediate response is, why? Why would I not vote on an amendment? First of all, it's my right as a U.S. citizen to vote. And I would want to voice my opinion as to whether or not this should be amended or not, right? And they instructed me that it takes one day to vote, to put an amendment in, right? But it takes 15 to 18 years on average to undo an amendment, right? And nobody realizes that. And that's 15 to 18 years of hard legislation, whether it be bills being proposed or lobbying or whatever it is, it takes 15 to 18 years to undo that amendment. So if that amendment turns out that it was poopy and wasn't what the people thought it was, or wasn't what the politicians thought it was, 15 to 18 years to undo it. Now, I believe it. And here's the kicker. And we've noticed this with Florida specifically in regards to the animal stuff. It doesn't matter what, in terms like this, again, in terms like this, we're not talking about political candidates or presidencies or anything like that. In scenarios such as this animal stuff, it honestly doesn't matter what your vote is, in my opinion, because if they want to make the drinking age 21 or the tobacco
cigar
21,
age. Tobacco,
right?
Yep.
They're going to make that law. If they think that, you know what, we have the numbers and it says that skydiving is just too dangerous to public health and you could crash through a building and kill everyone, you know what, we're just going to outlaw skydiving. No vote. Wham. Done. The voting is a formality in most cases. Yeah. And when because the last time, right, because they have to, and they have to have an open forum. People have to be able to voice their opinion. And the last time that Florida had a major rules change was, I think, 2016. And it was when they broke the venomous categories. They broke venomous into 4 categories. Mm-hmm. And my good friend Michael and I, we actually drove up to the meeting was held in St. Augustine, Florida, which is about 4.5, 5 hours north of me. Nobody realizes how big Florida is. It's very long, right? And I'm all the way at the tip and bottom. So we drove all the way up there. I took time off from work. I paid for a hotel room, the gas, the food, the expenses, and we sat in on there. And we didn't register to speak. We didn't have anything really to say prepared, but we sat to show our presence. And there must have been 25 people in there, 30 people. Didn't matter to them. Those people in the stand, they already made their minds up. They already had their votes in hand. But the people that went up there that was from our community and said, listen, this is my business, this is my livelihood, this is my life, this is my passion, they all gave a compelling argument. You know, it would essentially bring a tear to your eye. The people voting, they didn't care. They had their minds made up. Now, would it have been different if it was 1,000 people? Maybe, maybe not. But they do it on a Wednesday at 2 p.m, or they do it on a Saturday night at 9 p.m., and they do that on purpose so that people can't show up because they want to change the law, whether they're paid to do it from someone's personal agenda or they feel that it's in the best interest of the state or the county or the governing body. And that's sad. But the only thing that we can do is to keep doing what we're doing and band together as a community, because this community, as united as we are, we're not at all. And I hate to say that. Too many people disagree with one another. And we can't just get on common ground. And even if we donate all the money in the world to USARK, that's a handful of individuals fighting a fight for thousands of us. So I don't have a real answer as to how to rectify this or fix this or stop this. The only thing that I can say is that we need to get together as a community and not be bickering with one another or fighting over nonsense or pointing fingers. And we need to show up more, metaphorically speaking.
See, but on that note, and as Eric is saying, says it doesn't help when all the legislators see sensationalized bullshit. That is the lowest common denominator. Reptile keepers, we need more and better examples of people being responsible in the public eye. But the only stories that make the news are idiots, which is true. But here's where my issue lies. Like, we have people, South Carolinians, saying, sign this petition, do this, and you flip through their Facebook and they're free handling mange chants and shit. To me, that's like the arson saying, man, y'all really need to stop having burn piles in your yard because this is making me look bad. Like, this is hurting me.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, to me, if you're going to complain about this and you're sitting there posting free handling bullshit, I don't think you should have any real say in it, because it's like, you're part of the problem. You're the reason we're in this position in the first place, most likely. Like,
right.
Yeah, maybe not you directly, but enough people post free handling shit on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, and eventually it's going to catch enough attention. I mean, I think it's fair to say that most of the free handlers and stuff on social media have the biggest followings. And you think you're going to have PETA people paying attention to that and sending that to certain individuals, getting sent up that ladder to whoever your state representatives are.
And Pete is the majority shareholder in Facebook. So all these groups on Facebook that are reptile groups, you think they don't have eyes on everything? You think they don't have a hand in everything? And I'm not talking about, oh, this guy's a spy, kick him out of the group. I'm talking about visually watching everything, because their agenda is to end ours. That's just it.
It's frustrating. And as far as the moving thing goes, I mean, I have to be realistic. Just because I keep Boyga and I'm, probably inside the next 24 hours, not going to be able to anymore, at least come, July 1st, I think is the deadline if it gets passed. I'm not going to uproot my family. I'm not going to sell my house. No. I'm not going to change jobs. I'm not going to move to another state just because I can no longer keep a genus that I love and really enjoy keeping. This whole time I've tried to have a glasses half full sort of outlook on it, as hard as that is, and tell myself, hey, that makes more room for Bairds and chondros and some of the other stuff, and that doesn't make it as painful, but it's still, it still sucks. I mean, the day that I heard about it, man, I was almost in tears. I'm not gonna lie, because it's just so frustrating that people can just change the rules like that.
Yeah,
I was so angry. I was physically ill. Like, I was nauseous. I was just fuming, man. It's just, and Dan says secret closet. And if it were like a pee-pee slap or something with a fine, that'd be one thing, but they're making this a fucking felony, dude. Like, that's a big deal. I'm sorry, but I love my Boyga, but I ain't catching a felony just because I have them. That's just ridiculous. I think if you're going to be that hard-headed, that's just not wise. If someone's gonna be like, well, screw that, I'm gonna keep them, and if they don't like it, whatever. It's like, ask Cody Bartolini about that kind of stuff, dude. SWAT comes and busts your door down, and it ain't like some guy with a polo on and a tie walks up to your house and says, hey man, I hear you got some stuff you're not supposed to have. No, dude, they come in. You would think that you're a domestic terrorist.
I missed
the way they handle these things.
I worked at a facility, not underground. I'll specify that.
Also true, Riley.
You
can always get more Boyga if the laws change.
That's true. I will specify not underground, but I worked at a facility that was raided by the FBI. The FBI Special Task Force was asked by U.S. Fish and Wildlife to perform a raid on this facility. And I was working there at the time, and I was about an hour late to work because I had a prior engagement. And nice, thanks, Stogie shirt, love it.
Yeah.
And when I got there, everyone was just getting let out of their handcuffs. And you had guys and gals in helmets with machine guns asking, is that a red-eared slider? No, that's a spur-thigh tortoise. Is that a red-eared slider? No, that's a mata turtle. And they confiscated hundreds, if not thousands, of animals that were later found up to be mostly dead because they were put in a warehouse with no air conditioning, no water, no nothing. And they didn't find anything. And it was a very, very bad scenario, but they go to great lengths to make a case and to make an example. And that was a contributing factor to the turtle laws in Florida. They changed the turtle laws. Now it's for educational use and science only for baby turtles. Mm-hmm. So if you think that it is, like Justin said, a pee-pee slap or a slap on the wrist, even if it is, that shit builds up, man, and it accumulates. And we're here to preserve our passion and preserve the hobby and not make a mockery of it and not make it criminal. If they told me, hey, man, venomous is now banned in Florida and you have to keep what you have and never get anything else again, I'm going to enjoy the animals I have and go from there. And
if that would be the case with me, is I'd likely end up getting rid of the neonates and just keep the adults and just enjoy them. But because they're saying $100 per year per animal, it's like, I'm not going to pay somebody else to be able to keep my fucking animals, man. That's just That's ridiculous. That's like, I was going to say that's like you having your car, but we pay property tax.
Yeah.
And
people always bring me, they're like, well, will you register your vehicle? I say, yeah, I register my vehicle. At this point in the Western world, you need a vehicle, But me, paying $100 to have my vehicle year is not me paying, $900 because of the quantity of snakes that I have that are supposedly bad. So it's very different. It is. It's sad.
I mean, Johnny, it is, but like I said, that's my wife's being pretty understanding, and I think she knows that whatever, when I do sell the Boiga, that if that money goes into something else snake related, I think she gets it. Like, she understands that it's, the circumstances, it's not easy. Yeah, and that's another thing Christina said. I think it's smart to move your Boiga because people know you have them. It would suck if your state wanted to make an example out of you, which I do keep in mind, but it's mostly because, like I said, even this law doesn't pass and it goes back for revision. This is what I was saying before you got here, Phil.
Okay.
I think it's just going to be easier because I feel like the buck's not going to stop there. It's not going to be as simple as them saying, well, we tried, guys.
Right.
Sorry.
I mean, remember when they got rid of
shaking their fist.
Of course, when they called me, my investigator called me and said, "Hey, man, you know what this phone call is about?" And I said, "Let me guess, I'm off the list." He said, "Yeah." He says, "You don't have any big snakes anymore?" I said, "No, not currently." He goes, "All right, good." He says, and these were his exact words on the phone to me. He says, "You saw this coming. I'm sorry, but this is the beginning of the eradication." Those were his exact words. And I know that when he says he was sorry, he was genuinely sorry because he is a captive wildlife investigator. That's his job. If we're not around, he doesn't have one. He's going to get put back on road patrol or in an office somewhere. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to be in the field, or which happens to be the city, and interact with guys and gals like us, So when he tells me he's sorry, I know I know his convictions are true. But they called me and told me that, and it was the biggest kick in the gut ever because it wasn't that I had the animals; it was that I could never have them ever again. And it come to find out that if I did want to have them, I would have to have a brick and mortar facility that is open for commercial business. I think more than 8 hours a week. So if I really wanted to have a scrub python, if I really wanted to have a retic, I could go about it that way. But I can't sell them in Florida; they can only be sold out of state, and I wouldn't be able to breed them. So it sucks, but we roll the punches because that's what we do. We play the cards that are dealt. Unfortunately, Justin and many other South Carolinians got a really bad hand at poker, and that's just it.
That was all my money.
That was all your money, and you keep playing until you can't anymore. And somebody just texted me and says, someone who's actually watching this live right now said, why doesn't Justin just put them in a closet? Who would ever know he has them? And it's not it's not the point. The point is that people like myself and Justin, we're moral dudes. We have a conscience.
That's my thing too, is like we talk a whole lot about doing everything the right way and keeping venomous, doing it responsibly. I don't want to be one of those guys because if something happens, the punishment's probably going to be double because you were doing it knowingly you weren't supposed to.
Right.
And like I said, it's not worth a felony. It's not worth however much in fines I'd have to pay. It's just not worth the trouble. Like, I love Boiga. I really do. If I could keep him, I'd go even harder into the genus like I had planned to. But I have what I have currently as far as the other stuff and the other projects, and that'll have to do. That'll have to be it.
Yeah.
But it sucks. This is for South Carolina to go the complete opposite direction is just really surprising. I love Nikki Haley as a governor. I think she's probably one of the best governors the state's ever seen because she was very even keeled. Like it seemed like she weighed options and tried to be fair to all parties involved. And now the guy we have now, he's clueless. He's definitely up there in age, and sort of like Biden is just kind of seems sort of aloof and kind of unaware of where he's at or what he's doing. And I feel like they could slide any piece of paper in front of him and he'd probably sign it, not knowing what it was. But that's personal opinion. So yeah, and like Dom said, she says it's awesome to see that I had success with the animals, and that's true. Yeah, and so when you register the animals with that grandfathering clause, if that's the version of the bill that gets passed, there's a section that says, by doing this, you're literally giving DNR the ability to stop by any time and check on your stuff and enter your premises. So, I think overall the whole thing is part of a larger. And I'm not one for conspiracy theories. I'm not one to wear a tinfoil hat. I think this is sort of a larger thing. Like, I think it started with Florida, and that was sort of their test to see how easy it would be to pass some of these things and how easy it would be to restrict stuff that's already restricted. And I think so the conversation I had with one or two guys at DNR who were in charge of talking to us in the hobby as far as getting our opinions and stuff, I was told verbatim, and so were other people that I know. I asked him, and I told him, I was like, my fear with this Tegu thing is that it's not going to stop there. Like, this is the foot in the door, like we've talked about previously. We had a whole episode on that, I'm pretty sure, just a couple months ago.
We did. We most definitely did.
And he said very specifically, we have no plans or interest in coming after venomous or other exotics. We're just worried about Tegus.
Sure.
And here we are, not even 3 months later.
You were placated. Very simply.
That makes me think that there's a larger sort of scheme at hand. The fact that it was a pig bill originally, and DNR says they knew nothing about it. I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah.
Like DNR's in a really bad spot now, man. Like, I know myself, I don't trust a damn thing they say. They could tell me they're going to cure cancer tomorrow, and I'd be like, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Well,
what the original, it's funny because we're talking about the swine bill in South Carolina. You know what the original bill was for on the Tegus and iguana thing? Same concept. It was not a bill proposed about Tegus and iguanas, because if it was a bill proposed about Tegus and iguanas, the people of the state of Florida would say, who cares? No. It was a pro-hunting bill that basically said that if you were a hunter, you could not be molested or accosted or had your hunt interfered with by anti-hunters. So if you're out in the woods in a tree stand and you're about to shoot that prized buck you've been waiting your whole life for, to feed your family or to do whatever, because it's your right as an American, and a PETA person comes out there with a sign, a bullhorn going, stop hunting, that PETA person would go to jail. So every hunter in the state was like, rock and roll, let's do this. And they snuck in the iguanas. And then after that, then it transpired into everything that we see now. So it was the same concept. They do everything in their power to sneak stuff in because they have to push the agenda, whether it's money or it's personal opinion.
I definitely have a better appreciation for, we've all seen it. We get the alerts, oh no, Arkansas is having some trouble. And if you're in Florida, you're like, it's Arkansas. So, not a whole lot I can do. Yeah. Having dealt with this now, it's like we all gotta throw in. I mean, we're so outnumbered, outgunned, out checkbooked.
Yep.
That it really does require, everyone doing what they can. You can't even get mad at USARK, like especially with the South Carolina. They didn't even know what happened. Right. I feel like everyone noticed at the same time because Nick Bottini posted it. I messaged Nick after I read it and I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? And then he's like, yeah, I already talked to Goss, and they weren't even aware of it. Because they have a program, I guess, that searches for keywords and stuff. And because they slipped that in last minute, their program didn't catch it. And they can't possibly check all those states and stay up to date with what every single state is doing legislation-wise, in real time. But it doesn't make sense. I have no idea what this was based off of. I don't know of any major newsworthy incidents other than what happened in North Carolina a couple weeks ago. I don't know who made the decision as far as what can stay and what can go, because hydrodynasties wasn't really listed specifically.
Well, they modeled so the list that you sent me is the verbatim exact list of Florida.
I thought so, because it has sea snakes.
Correct. And what's funny is that up until 2018, again, my whole theory with the yellow anacondas, that list didn't exist. And I remember verbatim, because I got a proposed misdemeanor. I was given a misdemeanor violation because I had Hydrodonastis in a tank with cage clips, and I did not have a scientific name that said, Hydrodonastis gigas, and it did not say danger venomous reptile. And I informed the investigator at the time, who's not my guy now. That guy, he actually got promoted. Now he's like a captain or something. Great. He told me, he's like, this is venomous. I said, no, it's not. He says, yes, it is. Here's a misdemeanor. He says, you need to find the statutes. I said, what do you mean I need to find the statutes? You need to find the statutes because you're law enforcement. Your job is to enforce the law. I know it's not to memorize them all. It's to enforce it. So find me the law, excuse me, and I will comply accordingly, right? I'm a lawful guy. And he sent me an email with a statute that said the only venomous colubrids considered potentially dangerous to human health in the state of Florida was Teletornis, Rhabdophis, Boiga, Actractaspis, and Dyspholis.
Yeah.
And I said, so Hydrodonastis isn't in that list? And he says, yes, you are correct. The misdemeanor has been withdrawn from the state's doctrine or whatever. So it was basically his way of saying, hey, man, I'm sorry I fucked up. But now I
find that funny because I feel like Hydrodonastis would do so much more from a bite than any Boiga would.
Only because I think of
Hydrodonastis. Well, also you think given their size.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You're dealing with a big adult. I mean, that's pretty gnarly. I mean, that's the same with any big melanota or anything too. But
true.
I don't know. I think you have a better chance of getting nailed by Hydrodonastis just given their crazy food response than you do any Boiga. But that doesn't make any wrong.
That's not
right.
here.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so they literally took the exact list from Florida and said, let's do it. But guess what? We can do it better. And thank God Florida didn't do it the way that they did. But who's to say that we're not next? Who's to say that next year doesn't happen to us? Who knows?
Oh, nice. Jeff and Kendra got blood python eggs today.
Oh, congratulations,
cool.
Kendra.
They're killing it, man. Yeah, and that's kind of like what Matt was saying. He says easy for us to forget how afraid most people are of any reptile, especially snakes. And that's part of what I've always said is like this hobby is very hard to justify to the general public. Unless you're like a true animal or wildlife person, you're not going to get it. People don't understand. It's just like skydiving. It's just like drag racing. It's just like anything else that has a margin of danger to it. People aren't going to understand. You can explain it to them all day long. They're not going to get it. And I'm okay with that. That's why half the time I don't even indulge in conversation about it at work unless it's with a regular or something. Like there was a guy in the shop just the other day talking about how baby copperheads are more dangerous than the adults. And I just sat there staring at the TV, just watching whatever I was watching. I was like, I'm not even gonna bother. I had a lounge full of people. It's like I ain't even gonna go there. Let him live in his fantasy world.
Yep. How about
I do that I do want to educate people, but at the same time, it's exhausting. And those people are going to leave going, yeah, like that guy knows what he's talking about. He works at a cigar shop. It's
yeah. I've noticed recently that my business card has my first and last name on it. Right. Anyone who knows me from this, they know my name. But these people in my store, my retail store that I manage, they'll be like, hey, can I get your business card? Sure, absolutely. And I'll give them the card, and they're like, oh, great, cool. And I'm going to shoot you an email. Sure, shoot me an email. And some time goes by, and they come back in, and I've forgotten who they are. I see hundreds, if not thousands of faces, a month. And they're like, hey, man, they come in there, hey, I bought that thing from you that one time. Oh, great, thanks, welcome back. How can I help you? Hey, man, I found you on Facebook, man. Those snakes are crazy. You're crazy, man. I would never do that. You're crazy. And I'm like, wow, you took my business card and stalked me down and found my Instagram, and now you think I'm a lunatic.
Yeah, thanks for going out of your way to tell me that.
Right, and here's the thing: is I keep my Instagram public because I got nothing to hide, and it's fun, right? And I've had a lot of people find my Instagram, whether it be the Gecko one or my personal one, And they always have something to say or something to share. And that's why we have social media, is to share. That's why we have Instagram, is to share photos and experiences and videos and sell stuff and buy stuff. And it's a great platform. I'm a big Instagram advocate. But it bothered me. So it always bothers me when they're like, hey, man, I found you on Instagram. You're crazy. You got snakes, man. You're nuts. I would just shoot them. You know, it's like the famous thing. It's like, here's a picture.
Eat a dick.
Here's a picture of a that's my live dog. Here's a picture of a dead dog. How's that make you feel? Oh, well, stop sending me pictures of dead snakes, asshole. And it's never an ID thing like, hey, the weed whacker got this one, you know. That actually, I have a story for you.
Right. Like,
I have a story for you. How often
I hit it before I saw it and didn't realize.
Right, exactly. How often do people show you a picture of a dead snake that they killed and they're like, I fucking hate snakes, man. I had to fucking kill it. But is this dangerous? Does it really matter? You killed it.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter.
Now, here's the kicker. So on Mother's Day yesterday, I went to my girlfriend's cousin's house. They had a little barbecue. And her one cousin comes over to me, and he has his hands cradled. And he's like, hey, Phil, will you look at this real quick? And he didn't want to make a scene with, like, you know, the grandmas and stuff there and the aunts and uncles. He didn't want to make a scene. So I walk over, and in his hand is an adult ringneck snake that is dead. And it was freshly dead from the day before. And he's holding his hand. He goes, what is this? And I said, that was a ringneck snake. He goes, yeah, man. He says, I saw it right as the weed whacker was going by. I made a mistake. He's like, I just figured I'd ask you. He's holding his hand. And I said, hey, you know, be careful, because you don't know if it's venomous. You know, you're still holding it. Things can still hurt you even after they're dead. But he was showing me the dead snake. He saved it for me because he knew I was coming by. He showed me the dead snake because he wanted to learn. And it wasn't that he was afraid of the snake. He didn't kill it on purpose. He thinks snakes are cool. He just doesn't know anything about them. So I told him a little bit, and I told him what it was. I said, hey, they eat bugs. They're good to have in the garden. If you see them, you know, throw some dirt on him. He's fine. And he liked that. And I thought that was great because the ignorance wasn't there. It was curiosity. And
it was more of like I want to know for future reference. If I see one of these things again, you know.
Yeah. I said, and he's got little boys. And I said, hey, man, you know, if you find another one, they're totally harmless. I said, they're usually they're docile. Their mouth is so small they can barely even bite you. I said, just let the kids play them. Show them that there's nothing to be afraid of, you know. And he was like, yeah, that's great. That's great. So there's a difference between that and, hey, man, I chopped his head off with a shovel. What is this?
Here's a copperhead I killed, and it's like a fucking
corn snake,
king snake. Right? Not even the same colors. Exactly. It's a rough green snake.
But just to circle back around, these are the people we're speaking ill of. This is the mass opinion: is that we are crazy, is that we are something's not right in our brain, and that we're weird. And I can't understand why you would do that. Well, I can't understand why you go to a club and pay an exuberant amount of money to get blackout drunk and not remember how much fun you were having. Doesn't make sense to me. Like, I love alcoholic beverages. I like to have a few too many on occasion.
When you only have one liver.
Right, exactly. Oh, just because it grows back doesn't mean shit. So I like to enjoy a libation. I like to enjoy an alcoholic beverage sometimes more than I probably should, but I don't get blackout drunk to the point where the next morning I wake up going, oh my God, how did I get here? I must have had a lot of fun.
Unless it's Daytona. Daytona is the only exception.
I always remember Daytona. And that is one of the few times a year that I get completely schnockered. I get completely schnockered. But again, that's you think I'm crazy for keeping a corn snake that I found in the yard, but I think you're crazy because you'll drive home drunk. So
or do a fat rail of Coke in a bathroom not knowing if it's got battery acid in it or not. Bingo. Some stranger gave me a little baggie, man. Let's go.
Right.
People are dumb.
Oh, yeah, fucking humans. Anyway.
But as Bill Bradley said, no one who shows up with a badge will know anything, and your animals will likely suffer as a result. If you caught Nerd's little live stream earlier, which I'll circle back to that in a second, they were talking about how at one point someone, I think in Maine, if I'm not mistaken, had a berm, and they got raided, and they also owned, they said, a suboc, and I forget what the other snake was, but it was harmless, and they euthanized both of them because they didn't know what they were. So They're not gonna go, well, let's find out what this one is and hold on to it for a couple of weeks until we can identify it, and then we'll find. No, they're just gonna straight up euthanize it.
Yeah,
it's sad. And I
Riley
go back.
Says it best. Riley says it best. We're weirdos to most people who think eating Tide Pods is normal. Sorry, Justin, what were you gonna say?
Everyone's a little weird, man, to some degree. Everyone's got their thing. You got guys that are some of the best lawyers in the country that are probably nuts about Legos.
Oh, yeah.
And they got a room in their house that looks like it's something out of Neverland Ranch.
You're right.
It's weird to us, but to them, it's like, yeah, I just like Legos. They probably got more like enough collectible sets that are probably worth more than their house, and they're completely okay with that.
Hey, man, I have a lot of toys. Just saying.
Like I said, everyone's got a thing, but as far as like the nerd thing, so I mean, full disclosure, I've been on the fence about McCurley.
Yeah,
like
we all are.
I think mostly it's just sort of his. He's just it's his abrasiveness, I guess is the word. He's very no holds barred.
Right.
But I will say, the man has been coming in clutch for everybody on the U.S. ARC front. Like, I don't think there's anybody in this hobby that has done more. MTG, I'm right there with Billy Jenkins. Jesus, spent so much money on cardboard, it makes me want to cry. I don't think there's anybody in the hobby that's done more as far as raising awareness for what's going on legally than him and the boys at Nerd. So I have to give credit where credit's due. I actually tried to get Jeremy on tonight, but he's actually out of town, so he might come on with us next week. And it's like I said, I mean, when you have someone who kind of goes to bat for you and other people in your state, and they're not even anywhere near you, it kind of makes me feel a little better. It puts me a lot better. I have a better respect and appreciation for him than I can say that I did before, I mean, that's kind of my biggest caveat with that is, like, we're talking about all the legal stuff and what needs to happen and what needs to change and what needs to do. But then you got, the crazy video intro with the, don't do this at home. None of this is cool. And it's like, kind of, to me, it's sort of talking out of both sides of your mouth. But like I said, I have to say, he has been doing a lot. He's been making sure everyone's aware of it. He's been spreading the word. And, I'm okay with that. So, and then Riley said he's good in a political courtroom and helping with legislative things. He's not great with being respectful and professional to people outside of his circle, which is, So, I salute him in that regard. He has been in the hobby a long time. That's cool and all, too. But I'm not a ball python guy.
He popped out some crazy sky blue tokay geckos those couple years.
I'm not even going to talk about the Divergens albino melanota cross. That is an unforgivable sin.
Blasphemy, yeah.
Anyway. That's like a one-way ticket to hell. Jesus looked at that and said, "Oh no, don't even bother coming to my door."
Yeah. So on a lighter note, how are your eggs?
They're okay until the government tells me I have to get rid of them.
Oh, dude, come on, man. Let's put some liquid back in that glass.
They're all right. They're cooking.
Good.
I am beefing up the females still to get them ready for round 2. I actually, what's weird about this whole thing? I was talking to David Brahms and Luke Myers about this earlier in our little text group, and I don't know what it is about this whole thing the last couple days, last week, couple days. I don't know. It's given me a better appreciation for the chondros for some reason. Like, I feel like I kind of fell out of love with chondros for a little while. Like, I still like them. I still enjoy them. But now, when it's like, okay, now I have to I have cyanea that I have to get rid of. You know, it's like I don't know how to explain it. This today when I woke up and went to feed and clean everything, I was excited to get to mess with the chondros in particular. And maybe it's ChondroCast is going to happen. We're going to record Sunday, so
excellent, awesome.
Plan for that. That's the plan right now. Billy said, "I will pray for my sins." So that kind of has me a little amped. I don't know. I'm just. You kind of have to appreciate the stuff that you have when you realize that there's things you can't anymore.
I realized that a few years back with native stuff, excuse me. And a lot of people, they always talk, oh, you live in Florida, man, it's a herper's paradise, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, all right. But between the people that we interact with, the network and the magazine and Instagram and Daytona and Carpet Fest and all these people, and to be honest, just to pick one person, is honestly Nipper, because Nipper has such an affinity for North American herpetofauna. And talking with him really sparked it. It's contagious. And he's like, look, man, I love exotics, but he also loves his native UK herps, right? It's what he lives with. It's what is around him. It's what he grew up with. And I think about the stuff in Florida, and I have to tell myself, because I am so pragmatic, if they banned it all tomorrow, I think I would still be okay because I have my native stuff. Now, excuse me, if you live in a very cold state, like let's say you live in Maine, and I'm sure there isn't Wisconsin, right? Well, there's still some good herbs in Wisconsin, but if you live in Maine, and you got everything banned and taken away, having it already, it would probably be more difficult for you to fill that void. But it gives cause to do more trips. It gives cause to do more excursions and to make friends elsewhere to share the passion. And I feel like even if they ban it all, I still think that all of us would be okay. It would be very painful, and it would be a big punch to the solar plex, but we would all be okay because we still have each other and we still have our passion. And we'll build
you a big cage to keep you in, buddy.
Right. We'll find a way to keep on trucking, And I think that's what we really need to remember, is that we're all together in this. And that's part of banding this community together and not having the issues that we have, so that we can show up 1,000-fold and not just have a room of 20 people, and I mean that metaphorically,
Right.
But it's hard not to talk about these things because they have to be talked about. But I also, I want to fill the glass back up. I want to keep it half full. And
that's what I tried to remind myself when I was dealing with it is, it's like, it's the boiga that I have to get rid of. I still have the other stuff I enjoy. Hopefully nothing else will go, even though I would not be surprised if big constrictors and crocodilians were the next coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
I'd almost bet money on it that by the end of the year, something related to that's going to come in. So I think we should sort of maybe talk to USARK and sort of have some sort of plan ahead of time.
Yeah.
In case that's the case. So I don't know, man. It's and that's the question for everything though, is what Johnny said. What if it's the tip of the iceberg? I don't see them like the stuff that Petco and PetSmart sells, and that the basics. They're like, that stuff's never going to go away.
Right.
It's so tough because that's the biggest, that's the scariest part of it all, is like, what if it doesn't stop there? It's like a serial killer that's on the loose and no one knows where he is, but it's that you're in the street past curfew and you might be the next one kind of thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't live in fear.
Right.
If the serial killer's on the loose, guess what? I'm going to live my day-to-day life not in fear of some serial killer, because God forbid that serial killer comes and finds me. He's going to have a hell of a time trying to get his job done.
I don't know, man. I mean, some of those guys did some really messed up stuff. I would worry about getting dismembered. If it was like, I'm just going to get shot, that'd be one thing, but like getting taken hostage and then slowly tortured in a basement somewhere, like I'm going to probably stay home until they find that guy.
Okay.
Call me crazy, but the Buffalo Bills of the world, you know, hypothetically speaking, I've been watching all those like true crime murder documentaries on Netflix.
You're not a 28-year-old single female.
No, but I do enjoy them. And there's the Sons of Sam docuseries on Netflix right now. It's really good. You should check it out.
Are you watching all the murder stuff on Lifetime too?
No, bitch. Thank you.
So on a lighter note, Daytona's around the corner.
Dude, the next couple months are going to be hectic. Like Texas, Daytona.
Yep.
First year wedding anniversary in October. Like,
yeah, baby. So
I feel like there's something in September going on that I can't remember either.
I'm sure there is. So us, the fine folks of the Herpetoculture Network have been diligently and tirelessly trying to construct a feeding and maintenance chart, a card, if you will.
It's already made.
No, it's not. Not if you would see what I have.
No.
That we're going to be giving away for free at Daytona.
Did you print them out on the thicker cardstock?
I have not printed them out yet. They have just finished being constructed today. And for our wonderful viewers...
They're expensive as shit.
Nah, spare no expense here at the Herpetoculture Network.
Spare a little bit of expense.
Here's the first one. Boom!
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. The Herpetoculture Magazine.
Is that what Billy wanted from me today?
Well, Billy wanted them from you because I was working and I made these on my cigarette breaks. So don't tell my employer. First things first, we have the Herpetoculture Magazine one.
You didn't even put the QR code so people could get to the magazine.
I don't have the QR code.
Oh God!
Look,
folks, if you want something done right, just do it yourself.
Next up is the Uwabami reptiles.
Oh damn, boy! It just went from 6 to midnight.
How good does that look? Followed up by the Herpetoculture Network with no background. I actually like the Sharpie marker. If I take pride in that. Herpetoculture Network with the THP watermark. I think we're going to do this one and not the blank one. I think just because that one looks more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, so the backstory with those, because you asked me earlier, Luke sent me some of those when I got my conjures from him.
Okay.
And I liked them so much that I said, hey, send me the file. I guess the file originally was made by... maybe it was Buddy Buscemi's spouse or John Irby. I can't exactly remember.
Okay.
But then we had Daytona, like the first year we had Daytona, I printed out a bunch of them, brought them with me. Jeremy Turgeon ended up taking like all of them, and you see pictures of his room. There's one of those cards on every single tub. It looks like freaking wallpaper. And I don't know. I mean, no one's told me anything saying knock it off.
Well, if someone gets upset that we stole their template, I will cease and desist, and we'll just make a new one. No big deal.
They are very handy. Like I said, I get them in a thicker cardstock, so because my hands are often wet, from pulling mice out of water or whatever, and so they hold up really well to that getting a little soggy. So,
yep.
But they're double-sided, which is nice too.
Well, the piece de résistance, if I may. The Snakes and Stogies.
Hey, nice.
There it is.
But those are nice because I just fold them up when I sell a snake because they won't fit in a 7x7 box. I fold them up and stick them in there with the animal, and it's got all the information you could want on it. It's just the perfect amount of information, everything you need to know in like a nice little package. And Vic asked, what sizes do they come in? The ones that I have are a little bigger than maybe a 5x7. I don't know what size you have those at.
So we're going to do 2 different batches. I don't know which design is going to be on which cardstock, but we're going to have a handful of half page. So a normal 8x11 piece of paper will produce 2 of those half pages, right? And then I have cardstock that is perforated 4 pages, or so 4 to a page. So they'll be small. They'll be more like, it'll be like 5x4, I think, or 6x4, smaller.
Okay. Yeah, so, Johnny got one with that pop when I sent him, so he knows what's up.
Yeah. Yep. So we're gonna have these, and we're gonna give them away at Daytona, and it's gonna be first come first serve. We're gonna try and ration it, 1 or 2 per person, just because we're gonna have a lot of people come by the table, hopefully, and yeah, just want to share my my artwork.
So Irvin, who's here in the chat, messaged me, and this is actually a good reminder, public service announcement to everyone on the East Coast. It may affect the people in the Midwest and the West Coast, but there was a cyber attack on one of the gas pipelines.
Yes.
And he said the East Coast pipeline and nothing is going to be coming in for a hot minute. He said, so you might want to get gas ASAP. So just a reminder.
Yep.
If you do want one of these Snakes and Stogies shirts, you shoot our boy Billy Hunt at Uwabami Reptiles a message, because he's our director of merchandise. That's kind of
I like it.
You like that?
I do like that.
Co-publisher and director of merchandise for THN. He makes them all himself, so they've been touched by the hand of Billy Hunt.
Touched by the Hunt.
And he's a firefighter, so he's got like the magic, because he saved kittens and babies from fires and out of trees.
100%. How does it make you feel that you have one and I don't?
Really?
Really?
I didn't even know he was sending me one. I came home and there was a package for me waiting. It was a shirt and a bunch of stickers. So
nice. I also got in for giveaway at Daytona the Venomous Etiquette video stickers.
Hey.
So I need Gendra to mail me their address, because they want to do a sticker swap. Anyone else who wants to do a sticker swap, let me know. I actually have a brand new sea serpents rack that I just got from my man Chris, and I have nothing in it. I just wanted the extra real estate. So I need to fill the side of it with some awesome stickers. So anybody wants to do a sticker swap, feel free to DM me on the Knobtails Instagram. And yeah. And for those of you who are curious what that sticker looks like, I will show you if I can find it.
Johnny, are you talking about shirts? Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, I don't know what Billy has right now, but message him and see what he's got. I think he can do different colored vinyl. As far as the shirt color, I'm not sure exactly what he's got on hand. Oh man, look at that hog nose.
It's the best hog nose you ever seen. Venomous Etiquette videos, for those of you who are not already subscribing, I only have one video up.
I was going to say, he's got stickers, but he ain't got the damn video.
The next video is going to be so much better, I promise. I promise. And it will come soon. I've just been very busy with my day job.
Doing videos with the real Tarzan.
Yeah, dude.
I did enjoy that, though.
I'm glad.
I was like, look at Phil. And
that's
I got
actually
that screenshot of your face. That's like the best emoji ever.
Nice. Great. That's actually Mike's a wonderful individual, and I know a lot of people get a poor taste in their mouth about some of the content that he puts out. But the dude is as passionate as we are, and he's been doing it a very long time. And I commend him because he has brought wildlife and herpetoculture to so many people that did not know it existed. And it's very easy to see that the majority of his followers and his subscribers and all that, they're not herpers. They're not animal people. They just think it's cool. And maybe some of them want to see him get hurt. Maybe some of them think he's just pretty. But if you look past a lot of the ham stuff and like a lot of the production pieces, if you will, he's doing a great thing, man. He's bringing animals to the people and educating people. And even though it may be very, very layman for a lot of the people listening to this and or watching it, it's still nice to see it happen, to see it being happening. I don't know. I can't talk tonight.
I think I had a better sort of appreciation for that video in particular, if not sort of maybe in general, with the fact that like he didn't make it wasn't about him. Like he was like, Phil's the guy with all the nomenclature. I don't know any of that stuff, but here's the guy that does. Kind of instead of trying to sort of make sure he's the one. Because you get like guys like Tom Cruise and stuff, like they're never going to play the bad guy because they don't want to be. Right, they always want to be the hero, kind of like that sort of pedestal sort of effect. I like that kind of wasn't there, but
and I do think that Mike he's as outlandish as he can be, and as colorful as he can be. He's super humble, and he really has come from. I don't want to say he's come from nothing because that sounds insulting, but he's really, really worked real hard, and he's hustled his ass off to get where he is now. And the facility that he's building and the animals that he's keeping, and he's doing fantastic work behind the scenes that doesn't get put on YouTube, that doesn't get put on Instagram. And it's only a matter of time before it does get to that point where he gets to show us what he's working on. And I think that when that does happen, it's going to be really, really cool. And he does know more than he lets on. He is very modest. He is very humble. Snakes aren't his original, foundation. He's a lizard guy. Cyclora and
what a nerd.
Yeah, Cyclora for the most part, it's like his MO. But he's got a lot of cool snakes, man. He's got Olive, which I think is awesome. He's got a bunch of chondros. He
bought a coach whip that day.
Yeah, he bought a coach whip. So that was somebody had. I'm pretty sure that was a wild caught animal that someone raised up, and I guess that maybe it was a kid that went to college or something, and it wound up back underground, and he wound up getting that because it's Florida native, and they're an amazing species that you don't ever see because let's face it, they're not the best pet snake. They require a little more attention, and they're a bit of a handful to handle and work with, but it's just cool to see like he doesn't just have X, Y, and Z, and he's not just talking about X, Y, and Z. And that day when we were hanging out at the shop, he'd just gotten back from the Galapagos, and he showed me all these pictures on his phone that he probably won't show on Instagram just because they're not like gram worthy. You know what I mean? And he's talking about these marine iguanas and the blue-footed boobies and and the people that he's interacting with and the seals and the seals or sea lions, I can't remember what they are, and all the different shorebirds. And, he's talking so passionately about this stuff, and it's not fake because he's known me for 15 years. He's not putting an act on, you know what I mean? He's talking to his animal brother that we've been doing this our whole lives, and just to see that passion and and he's like, dude, I can't wait to post more of this Galapagos Island stuff because it's super cool. And of course, he shows me the professional photos, and it looks gorgeous. But he's talking about how they take a boat to a private beach, and where all the marine iguanas are, and he asks, hey, can I just go for a walk? And he talks about how they give him permission to just walk on his own on the beach with no camera crew, nobody. He's just by himself, and it's because deep down inside, as much as he is in the spotlight, in the limelight, what have you, he's one of us, man. He really is. So yeah, he's done some stupid stuff in the past. Yeah, he's been a little goofy on social media and probably done some things that we're all shaking our head at. But I'm happy to know that he's still with the roots. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It's a great group,
right?
Love the music.
Dude, drummer's amazing.
Quest.
So yeah, and Grant.
Well, I mean, on that note too, I watched Lucas Masso, and Jeremy Turgeon were on Barczyk's podcast the other day.
Oh, very cool.
And I actually watched most of it at work. I didn't end up finishing it because it was time to go home. But I actually enjoyed it. You know, I like I've said that for a while. Like, yeah, am I Barczyk's biggest fan? No. But when he's calm and normal, for lack of a better word, like I can get behind him a little more when he's
him. When he's not the persona.
And I don't know. I liked the conversation was good. You know, when it's not over the top and stuff, it's like I can get down with it.
Yeah. And dude, kudos to Lucas for getting on there.
95% of the other stuff, I'm just like, this is too much. It's just gross.
Was that Lucas's first time doing something that big?
I think so.
Yeah, good for him, man. Good for him.
Yeah, because he just had his first chondro clutch hatch. Actually, I believe that's the first snakes he's bred were these green trees.
Awesome.
And he had 10 eggs and he had 10 hatchlings, so he knocked it out of the park. He did really well. And I know everyone's super pumped for him.
He's 16 now? 17?
I don't know. He's in that. I
think he's 16. Yeah. Good stuff.
I mean, all the babies look really good.
Yeah.
You know. Yes, like free handle, certain unnamed person's collection.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone right now. So, what is Vic saying about Christmas?
He said, "Is it going to be like your Christmas story?"
Is what going to be like my Christmas story?
I don't know. I think those corn eggs are going to hatch while we're gone, man. Next month.
Really?
Yeah.
No, maybe you'll be like Billy and they'll hatch out a week early.
I doubt it.
Never say never, man.
So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll go ahead and set up tubs, and then when they hatch, I'll have my dad come over and just set them up, like just put them in the bins, and then I'll label them when I get home and all that good stuff. So
cool. It's nice that you have that ability. You know what I mean?
Yes. Your next video, is it going to be like the Christmas story?
Oh, way better. Way better. So.
We want more fake snow. We want more Phil in a robe with his camo shorts.
Marcus and his fiance, they've already told me that they're decking the house out even more this coming Christmas, specifically so we can do a couple nights of shooting for the Phil Christmas video. So I swear to God, if I show up and there's live caribou, I'm gonna cry. I'm just saying.
All strewn together, attached to a sleigh?
Even if there's just one. Dude, I'm like cuddling the fuck out of that caribou.
Jeff asked when your boy is coming on the podcast.
Who?
I forget his actual name.
Oh, Mike, yes.
Yeah, that guy.
That's entirely up to the board of executives at the Herpetoculture Network, and I'll send him a message and we'll figure it out. I'll talk to Justin and we'll arrange what we can.
I'm so weird about that stuff, man, because it's like, I don't want to.
Johnny says all snotty, crying, petting, and cuddling a caribou.
Yeah,
110%. 110%. Ooh, would you imagine if the antlers were all velvety? Just
I don't want to sell out, man.
What's selling out? It's a caribou.
Not the caribou.
Oh, Mike. Look, man, there is no selling out. We do us. We do things the way that we...
Metallica sold out.
Metallica also made a fuckload of money, man. I'm just saying. It's like when you ask Lars Ulrich, how do you sleep at night? He goes, on a pile of cash.
That's what Jason Newsted said. He's like, yeah, we sold out every single night of the week.
That's good. I didn't hear that one. That's good. Look, and here's the thing. You and I have talked about having some controversial guests on here before. And I'll be honest, I don't consider Mike to be a controversial guest, but I also see how this network isn't necessarily about promoting what's already mainstream per se. It's about promoting the people that, the bolo stuff and the private breeders and the hobbyists and the field herbers and the scientists. And, we try and keep the network as professional and as fun as we can. But I don't think certain individuals would be a hindrance. But I could see where there would be skepticism about it. And maybe we save those for the pre-recorded ones, just in case. So, but we'll talk about it. We'll see what happens. The future is in our hands. I have no idea who said that, but it sounded good at the time.
Jeff said he'd think it'd be good and it would help promote the podcast and magazine. That's always kind of been my thing, is like when podcasts get these guys with just the massive followings and stuff, it's like, is it a grab?
Yeah, but you look at it this way: if the network gained 1 million followers, it doesn't matter who stays or who goes, because our content will still be the same. We're not gonna all of a sudden start, doing energy drink commercials for Booty Sweat. You know what I'm saying?
Energy drink commercials for Bang.
So you sell it for Bang, but
I love Bang. Who doesn't love Bang? Come on, I got another one in the fridge. I want to rip open. That'd be my 5th of the day.
Yeah, we'll hash it out. We'll talk about it. We'll figure
1,500 grams of caffeine.
Milligrams. Oh, those amino acids just pumping through your soul. So
yeah, I don't know. It's just, man, it's one of those things where I just feel, I don't know. I'd feel weird, like watching a Rob Zombie movie. I gotta go take a shower afterwards.
What?
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 Huh? I don't know how to explain it.
There's nothing to explain, man. Yeah, I got you. I understand. We don't have to make a decision right now. We're live with people. Peoples.
So I'm not getting my beadeds now.
Yes. I was going to bring that up to you. I was going to ask that.
Oh, here we go. Henry's getting all hypothetical on us. If Steve Irwin wanted to come on, you wouldn't want his free handling ass.
It's got a point, man.
That's a tough one.
It's got a point.
I don't know. 10-year-old me would be all about it. 30-year-old me is kind of like, eh. Yeah, see, I mean, Christina said it. She's, I don't know, Clint's lost some brownie points with a few of his co-ops in her point of view. So, I don't know.
Johnny,
I love that video.
Yeah,
I'm driving this because my Hummer's in the shop.
Oh, that's a freaking great video.
What's up with the perps, man?
The perps, they're alive.
Are you getting babies out of them?
No, I tried to pair them, and I had it. So the cool thing about equatorial Tremercerus is their window of opportunity for breeding is very large. And I tried to pair up a couple different sets, and it wasn't going so well. And I really think that the females are too small. I think they need to get more mass on them. I think they need to be a little larger. I've had them in captivity 2 years now. Yeah, wow. Is it 2 years? Yeah, I think it's, wow, 2 years. And they're doing good. But again, dude, like, as much as I want to breed stuff, like, I'm in no rush. So if they're not ready, then I'll leave it alone. I was keeping a male and a female together to try and see if one night I just happened to stroll in on some, booty touching. Not the case. It basically was a classic example of Jack in the Box. So I'm just leaving them be for now, and we'll see what happens. I'm totally convinced my squams is a pair of girls because they just get bigger and fatter and don't breed. So yeah. And everything else, man, is baby. The wrinkles are doing good. The female ate, the male refused, which I think was interesting, but he doesn't look like he's losing weight or anything. So I'll probably give him a smaller item this week and kind of go from there. I got all the materials for those enclosures I was talking about. And I really think that I'm going to take all of y'all's advice and do more spray foam stuff. And talking with Meekers about doing like the ceramic dishes and stuff like that. And I really think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take your idea of the cardboard, right? And then I'm going to buy one of those classic gray with the blue interior ceramic bowls that we all have, we all know and love, because I think that will be heavy enough to support the weight, but still be light enough I can pick it up with hemostats, you know? And I'm basically going to put that, I'm going to spray a little foam, put that down, put the deli cup in it with the cooking oil, right, just in case, and then spray foam that bowl like inside the rock, you know what I mean? And that way I'll have the bowl to fit the deli cup. It'll be blue on the inside and not whatever color the foam is, you know? And I think it'll look good.
We need to have Bill back on.
We do. Very much.
Every time I see Bill on Facebook or on here, I'm like, man, we need to have Bill on again.
We do, man. He's a wonderful human. I
Henry
thoroughly
too.
enjoy him. Henry too. And hey, Bill, how much was that Zupoxy stuff, if you don't mind me asking?
I heard it's expensive as shit.
I know that's what Marcus used when we did a lot of the enclosures at the institution in Miami. And man, they were buying it by like the 5-gallon bucket. And I don't even know how much that was. Crazy.
It's a little different when it's on somebody else's dime.
Yeah, right. Right.
Need to find a girlfriend for the Tannenbar man.
You do. You do.
Make it so.
In 7 or 8 months, I couldn't snap my fingers and make it happen. Maybe this year will be a little different. Maybe 2021, I'll find him a girlfriend. Who knows? But Henry says that Marcus said it was very expensive. Bill says it was $165 for his kit. It was a 10-gallon kit is $600. That's your 5-gallon. So yeah, excuse me, folks. Sorry for clearing my throat in your guys' ear. I'm excited. At the end of the month, I will be visiting Billy Hunt. I will be delivering some caging and stuff to him, and he's got so many eggs in the incubator. It is so fantastic. He's got the Nova Guineas. He's got some coastal stuff. He just had a clutch of striped jungles. The Morelia is going hard, and I'm pretty sure he has a clutch of granite spotteds as well. As well as I think some pop ones. I can't remember. There's just so many eggs he's got going cooking right now. So he's actually working tonight. We're gonna try and have him come on tonight as well. But yeah, I'm excited because a couple of his clutches should be hatching when I go visit him in that ballpark. So I'm kind of hoping that I'll get to be there to watch him hatch. You know, that's phenomenal. And I've actually never been there in person to watch a snake emerge from an egg. I've been there for live birth, but I've never been there to watch it actually come out of the egg. So,
man, I can't wait for these Baird's eggs. Those might hatch around the time we're gone too. Those eggs are like, I don't know that I've ever seen eggs that look as perfect as those.
That's awesome. I like it. Yeah, and just not to harp on my enclosure, but I really love going to that Hobby Lobby, man. Hobby Lobby has some of the nicest fake plants you'll ever find, and it's not cheap by any means, but the quality, the rubber textures, the silicone textures, even the silk stuff, the quality is just it's tip top for craft plants. You know what I mean? So I see so much potential, you know, and what I found myself doing is when I'm looking, because I really want to start redoing all my enclosures and getting lighting all together and stuff. And I bought a bunch of timers so that I can get the cycles correct and everything. And I'm walking around Hobby Lobby with my cell phone, and I have all these pictures of landscape photography, essentially, of all these different localities from around the world. Ethiopia and Transvaal and Straits of Malacca and Sumatra and pictures of the outback, Uluru, and like I'm just walking around Hobby Lobby. People think I'm freaking nuts because I don't look like I belong in a Hobby Lobby. You know what I mean? And I'm only in the plant section, and I'm picking out the most obscure stuff. They have an entire aisle of miniature fake cacti. And now I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, oh my God, that
People
fake
love
cactus.
Fake cacti, man.
Yeah, they do. I'm like, that fake cactus is in this photo. And then I'm like, what is the name of that? And it's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, I have to Google that. And now I'm Googling cactus species. Because, I don't know anything about plants. I kill them really well. So, and if Billy listens to this, the pothos is doing well. Don't freak out. And I think that doing that is another hobby unto itself. And now I'm kind of seeing what all these plant people like about it. I just can't get into stuff that actually is alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I really want to get in that big habitat systems rack and the smaller rack that the chondros are in. I had some pothos cuttings in the water bowls, but they weren't really growing. But I do want to pick up. So the one in the tannenbar cage is like exploding. It's getting almost out of hand. But I do want to grab another one of those pothos plants, split it up, and try and get some of that growing in those tubs and stuff. Which, when I was cleaning chondros today, some of those smaller ones, like the two that I have from Luke, they're almost to the point now where I could probably bump them up into those Cambros if I wanted to.
Cool.
But kind of what's interesting too is I have that male Biak that I've talked about previously, that every time I move it, it just shuts down.
Yeah.
So I moved him into a Cambro tub, right? You know how I was talking last week about how I might have to move him back?
Yeah.
That fool stayed grounded under the pad since I put him in that rack. So that's almost like a month. And just within the last couple of days, he's gone back to perching, and then he ate today. So sometimes I think they just need time to kind of do some soul searching and figure out exactly. Is someone dying? Someone's getting shot.
It's car alarm.
Oh, yeah. So apparently he figured out whatever he needed to figure out because he's back to normal now. So
cool, man.
I pretty much just ignored him, man. I just let him be. I'm like, figure it out, and that's exactly what he did. So.
Nice, good.
And Jennifer Strickland said, I just spent almost $100 in Michael's on fake plants. It's very addictive.
There you go.
See, and I thought about going, because there's those ferns from Walmart that I like so much that are like $5 for a big bundle of them.
The infamous Walmart fern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've thought about using that in some chondro cages, but I really think the pothos helps overall with like humidity and stuff. So I think I'll just go that route. And that habitat systems rack has the lights in it, like the LED has literally bulbs, like screw-in bulbs on each level, and they're LEDs.
Nice.
So I want to get some cooler ones though. The ones I have are kind of warm, and I don't really like warm.
You mean
color-wise?
The
white
Calvin.
balance. Yeah. I like
Calvin's too
cooler
warm
colors rather than.
Yeah, I agree. The rack with the purple maculatus in it. When Sean built that, he asked me, he's like, hey, what Calvin do you want? I said, I don't know the exact tone or the tint, but I prefer like a cool blue color. But just going back to the ferns, I think that, and again, I don't keep chondros, so what the hell do I know? But I feel like those bushy fake ferns would not be conducive to the chondros' concealment. I feel like they would almost sit on top of it opposed to in it, while it's like the pothos is very widely, the leaves are widely, arranged. There's more visualness that they could see through the foliage. I feel like that would be a better suited plant for them, especially in the tub setting. But again, what do I know?
I don't know. I mean, I think like if you have it to where it's mounted to the side and kind of there's like a visual barrier, like there's a back side of the fern on the perch and then a front side, like they'd take advantage of staying out and back there. Because I know Brahms has used some fake plants in his, and they seem to enjoy or taking advantage of that cover, and they'll kind of tuck themselves back behind it. Yeah. So
I had fake. What's the? I want to say it's a type of pothos, but it's variegated, but it's red. Like the variegation is red opposed to green.
Do it.
Anyway, I had that with the Cynodon, and that thing loved to slither in between it, like intertwine itself. And I think that also had to do with that cryptic camouflage that it has. It knew that plant was cryptic on its own, and it slithered within that plant. And Erica says that she loves those ferns too. And I was going to ask Erica, do you ever have like a chewy sit on the back side of like a thick stack of ferns, or are they always on something that's more stable? Because like I've never seen, like maybe I've seen Garandus do it, but like a lot of those arboreal geckos, like even the small like Williams eye and stuff, I always feel like they would love to get on the back side of those ferns, and I just never see it. I don't know.
I'm of the opinion that any cover is good cover.
Yeah. Yep.
But with that male Biak, I was like, all right, dude, I'm tired of playing this game. It's sink or swim. Like you either get with the program or you don't. We don't negotiate with terrorists.
Right.
And I was assist feeding some of the Cyanea earlier, and I got a little nibble on the thumb.
Oh yeah.
And it's a little sore.
Really?
So it's pretty interesting. Like it felt a little odd. Like it didn't like hurt. It just felt a little more sensitive.
Okay.
And it ached and was a little sore, but I don't know. So I may have gotten a little taste.
Almost like you stubbed your toe opposed to smacking it with a ball peen hammer.
Yeah.
Stub the toe.
Not even. Good. I mean, even that's a bit extreme.
Okay.
But
all right, interesting.
I've figured out that Cyanea, if you kind of like, because what I'll do is what I did with like the condors when I'm assist feeding. So I have the tail or the body in this hand, and I have them resting on this hand, right? And so I sort of I'll position my hands like this, and I'll pull them back so that it's not me creeping up on them. With this hand, it's pulling them back naturally.
Right.
But they figure out real quick, oh, there's something near my head, and they just whip around, and this one just, I mean, you can't even see the mark, but
yeah,
maybe you can, that little pinpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Yeah. So that one got me good, dude. There's one in that clutch that is extra smart. Like, I swear to God, this one has figured out the tricks. And it's the feistiest one of the bunch. Like every time I got to do number 6, I'm like, here we go. This dude's he's serious. Like when he's ready to go, he don't play.
You haven't thought about doing the sponge technique like they do with baby venomous?
No, what I've been doing now actually is I take a glass cigar tube like this, and I basically tube them.
Oh, good.
So I do the same thing where I have them go in the tube, and then I pull up like I have my hand right here at the front, and I'll just pull them. And then when I get close to the head, like at that neck part, I'll just slide them out and pin them, and then put a tail in them. So,
okay, cool.
Cigar tubes, I save them because I was saving them when I was dealing with dart frogs because it's a really good way to ship dart frogs.
Yeah.
Ideally the plastic ones and not the glass ones because
glass breaks.
Not plastic.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of those little tubes, and those come in handy for that kind of stuff.
Erica answered me. She said that the chewies will rest on the ferns, but lychees don't. And I think that makes sense. They're a little more heavy-bodied, And Jason says he got grabbed by his 3-foot blood python last week, and that was not fun. I can only imagine. But I'll tell you what, I did something really stupid a long time ago. I used to keep a lot of scorpions, a lot. Almost everything was in the Buthidae genus, excuse me. And I had a like 3rd or 4th instar Androctonus bicolor, which is one of the most spicy scorpions on the planet. And he was in his little deli cup, and there was like a cricket or whatever. And I wanted to take the cricket out with my fingers. I should have been using hemostats or tweezers, and I wasn't. And I took my middle finger and I just tapped him on the tail, right? And he swung that Telson back, straight back. And that Telson drove right into my cuticle. And I went, ow, like that. And that's when like you have that moment. I don't know if many people have that moment, but you almost, it's like in the movies where you hear that audible tone, like, ooh, you know? And like everything's just like, whoa, shit just got real. And I was like, okay. And I called a bug expert friend of mine and I said, hey man, I just got whacked in the middle finger by a 3rd instar bicolor. And he's like, Heterogenous? And I was like, Androctonus. He's like, dude, why are you on the phone with me? Get out of there. And I was like, no, I'm all right, man. Like, it doesn't hurt yet. And my finger, it got hot and my whole hand went numb. Like pins and needles,
you got a little
numb, right?
Little taste.
Got a little taste.
Sample.
I got just a free sample, and the warmth, like, and I don't mean fire, like heat. I mean the warmth. You know, went up into like my wrist, and after about 30-40 minutes, it all went away. So I think it was because of the size of the scorpion. Is
yeah, because 3rd instar isn't tiny, but it's also not full grown.
Exactly. And it was 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, anything in that genus. Yeah, I don't think it matters what size it is. It's you're gonna feel it.
Yeah, and you know, most scorpions, the venom is binary. You know, and they can select one or both. And I'm wondering if maybe I only got one of those toxins, or maybe I got residual inside the stinger itself. Mm-hmm. I mean, who's to know? I mean, there was no blood, there was no venom on my finger, there was nothing. It was just a boop, real quick, and I won't ever do that ever again.
Yeah, you dodged a bullet on that one, buddy.
Well, in hindsight, if it was a grown scorpion, I probably wouldn't have done the finger thing anyway. You know what I mean?
I do love Androctonus, though. Those are such cool scorpions.
I know.
Little tanks, awesome. Man.
Tanks.
So. Like, literally, like, those things are freaking built, man. They're, like, armored to the freaking front to back.
And, hey, the bicolor I gave you, that died, right?
Yes.
And then, but did the gracilis die?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, who knows how old the gracilis was, man. That thing could have been 10 years old for all we know.
Bill asked, it's probably too soon, but since no beateds, am I going back to darts, or am I just going to let there be some open space for a while? You know, since all the tanks and stuff are gone, I love darts. I was getting really... one of the main reasons I got at them in the first place was I was just really frustrated with fruit fly cultures. It seemed like every time I bought a new batch of them, they were crashing and they weren't surviving, and so I was having to drop like $40 constantly on new cultures, and they were just crashing for no reason. And I eventually just got tired of it. And I know my buddy Reed was, you know, we had talked about trading some at some point, and I just told him, I was like, you know, take everything, just, and it was a space thing too. That was the most the biggest factor was, you know, I had space in my room that I needed, and frogs were taking up almost a half a wall of that, which, I mean, the walls aren't very big, but I needed it. And so it was just one of those things where it was just, it was time, you know. I just, one of those things, you know, where you get excited about something and you keep it, and then after a while you're like, I kind of just want to go back to snakes. Well, I was doing springtails too. I don't know. I had a lot of, I went from one tank to a lot of tanks, and eventually it just got, you know, with the magazine and everything else, it was just like, I need to stick to to snakes. AST. What's that? I'm not good with acronyms. Christina said, I was mucking around with some baby heterometrus, like the size of your thumbnail, and one barely grazed my thumb, and I didn't think much of it because they aren't spicy. 30 minutes later, my heart rate went berserk. Yeah. I had a baby alligator snapping turtle. Man, that's another one. You know, space eventually will be a problem. And I was doing some reading on them too, and I was reading something that said they needed like water flow, like they couldn't just have standing water, like they had to have fresh flowing. But I don't know how accurate that was. That kind of turned me off because it was like, I don't know. I am eventually planning on getting some of those. There's some racks that Black Box has, because I don't know if you played with the Black Box racks at Daytona last year at all. Boy, the tubs on those things are like they're so smooth. It was floating. It was like it was on a nice layer of butter, and it just.
Well, on that new Sea Serpents rack I had never seen this before, and maybe I'm just not paying attention. But I got the rack home, and I'm looking at it, and there's these metal. It looks like the trim tab on a boat. There are these metal flaps that are in the back of the rack, the back of each drawer, and I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm touching it, and it's like a super thin aluminum, and it's held on there with like metallic tape. And I'm like, why is this? What the hell is this? I'm thinking maybe it's like a shipping thing or something. So I text Chris because I'm stupid. I don't know. I text Chris and I'm like, hey man, maybe I'm a moron, but what's with the metal flaps? It's a protective aluminum panel that shields the tub from direct contact with the heat tape. And it also helps so when you slide the drawer in, it just goes up that ramp and holds the plate down. I thought that was brilliant. I'd never seen that before. So feel free to call me a moron.
Yeah, that's definitely why I prefer back heat over belly heat. Is just that constant friction, you know.
Yeah.
Eventually, I mean, that's anything. When you have friction like that day in, day out, eventually it's going to wear, you know. You and your Fiji bottles.
This one got the pink lemonade tonight.
Nice.
I do love those Fiji bottles, man. They're amazing.
I am surprised at how inexpensive alligator snappers have gotten, though. Like, for some reason, I thought those used to be ungodly expensive.
No, I don't remember. No.
I don't know. There was someone local to me selling one on Craigslist for like $75. I was very tempted. It was a small one.
At least you can have them.
Knock on wood.
Well, I got in an argument with Fish and Wildlife, and I wound up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, no more turtles for Phil. And of course, the one turtle that I would keep, which would be diamondbacks, like now they're trying to regulate those too in Florida, which is crazy because the only one that's actually protected is only found in a small population north of Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it just whatever, man. Let's not get back on the legislations. Dude, spotters are cool, man. I can get behind the spotter.
So cool.
And I really like Hamiltoni. And I remember, who was I talking to? I was just talking to somebody about this, how, like, 10 years ago, Hamiltoni were like a $5,000 turtle because of, Lacey Act and all that stuff. Now in Florida, they're like $150. I think Wayne sells them for like $180, $150. Crazy.
I want to do egg eaters, but I need to see if I can get quail eggs readily.
Yeah, you'd be surprised where you can find them.
I'm sure Publix has some.
Well, I forgot you guys have Publix up there.
We have one. We're about to have a second one. We're building another one on the other side of town.
Awesome.
Looking on Morph Market at some green trees.
Henry just sent me a picture, and I just asked if I have permission to share it.
Dude.
And now we are sharing it.
Am I going crazy and thinking that like chondro prices are getting out of hand for some of these?
Of course they are, but it's a commodity, man. Supply and demand. You know?
I look at some of these for sale and I'm like, what possesses you to put that price tag on that? But
so that's Henry. Henry is, I believe, he's in the yellow of me, 5'8", maybe.
Midget.
And the ceiling is 9 foot even. So assuming that you have some stretch in that skin, looks like Mango's pushing maybe 7.5, 8-ish, right? It's getting up there.
Hobbits of a feather flock together.
But I thought it was a great photo.
Yeah, man, that snake seems like it's growing stupid fast.
Yeah, man, dude, it's like 6, 7 foot in the first year.
It's crazy.
You know? So,
see, I want some bamboo rats too, but after talking to Matt and Dr. Messenger, I'm like, because crosses are so common, especially with the cockeye and stuff.
Right.
It's like, how do you know what you get is actually what you have?
Yeah. I don't know. And what's funny is, like, I remember some years back when they were just becoming popular and they were still pricey. You know, what do they go for now?
Like anywhere between 200 and 400, I think.
Okay, yeah,
on what you're looking at.
Yeah, I think they were probably between like 4 and 6 back when I was talking about them. They were very specific and they looked very different. And I feel like now they're starting to look the same. You know what I mean? And like that's depressing to a certain degree.
I want some mandarins too, but my issue now is like I'm looking at like my ambient in my room stays pretty warm now.
Yep.
And I can't really keep them in my closet because my closet is now starting to get warm because it's summer and it doesn't have HVAC in there, which makes me concerned about the incubator. And so I'm checking my Govee a little more regularly now to see how warm it's getting in the chamber itself. Let's see. Bob Evans said the chondro that he got 2 or 3 years ago is now apparently worth 3 times what he paid for them. Yeah. Seems to be sort of the theme is the closer you get to a breedable age and size, the higher the value goes on chondros, especially.
Yeah, and I think that the whole ambient room thing is something that we've really never thought about in the past. And now that we know what we know and that we keep the way we keep, I think it really is conducive to try and keep things in the same temperature realm. That's not to say that you can't do it. I mean, have yourself a montane room, God bless. But like, if somebody offered me, Fees Vipers, I probably would decline right now because I don't have a way to keep them cool enough,
Yeah, Matt's the one I'm talking about. Like, talk to Matt most enough.
Yeah.
His influence is strong.
Dude. And I see his pictures every day, man. And the dude's just killing it.
He's got a YouTube channel now.
Yeah, he does.
I watched one of the videos either yesterday or this morning. I forget, but
awesome.
Good dude. Another guy I'd have on all the time if I could.
Does Mike Cuppins have any eggs in the I
I know he was pairing some chondros, but I don't think he does right now. Yeah, see, and Jason says, he keeps his coxswain in the bedroom, no heat or anything, and they do just fine. They like it in the low 70s. But my room, we're looking at like upper 70s, low 80s ambient in the middle of the day.
Yeah, but would Katie be upset if you put, a 20 long in the bedroom with the coxswain?
Yes.
I got you.
I was pushing my luck with having like 2 of the small exoterras with thumbnails on the dresser. Even though I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Auction for this month.
Yes.
Or raffle, rather. So Chris has another one of these bad boys to put up. These cigar stands.
Hell yeah.
Some more of those My Father Judges.
Excellent.
And I'm going to get another. So we have these little kits that we got. It's a box of 20. But it was for like a couple of the companies got together and do these lockdown events where you bought this box of 20 and it came with a raffle ticket. The raffle's long over and done with, but we still have some of these kits. So I was thinking about buying one of those.
Sure.
And having that as the raffle. I've even contemplated putting up a pair of Bairds.
Whoa.
Maybe.
Whoa.
So there's an RPI event happening before Daytona. That's going to be like conservation auction fundraiser thing. I've already signed up to put a pair of Bairds up there. And then for the Get Buzz for Buzztails, I actually did a $150 voucher for Palmetto Coast stuff.
Cool.
So we'll see. I haven't the thing is, if we have people that are there and they're there for the snakes, they want the snakes. We have people that are there for the Stogies, they want the Stogies. So maybe do 3, we do 3 drawings, and then whoever gets that first drawing gets their pick of the 3, prizes or whatever. I don't know, but at the same time, I haven't hatched the Bairds out yet, so I try not to count my snakes before they hatch, so to speak.
Yeah.
But by then, hopefully, they will have with that RPI event thing at least. So
cool, man. I got the email for the, dare I say, itinerary thing from Pia. I got to go through it. I've just been so swamped with work, man. I haven't had a chance to do it, but I am very honored to be a part of it. So I'm excited. And then you and I have to figure out how we're going to choreograph that. If you and I are just going to just go to the Bartolini's instead of me coming up to you that Thursday,
I want to do both, man.
I know.
But if we're hands-on with this thing, I kind of feel like we should be there.
Yeah, well, we have to be. We have to be there. I was also thinking about this, too, is just looking at the calendar. Let me check my schedule. So yeah, I can be at the Bartolini's on the Wednesday if need be. But I don't go back to work till the following Thursday. So I could, in theory, still come up to you after Daytona. We can play it by ear,
that's up to you. You're the one who has to do the stupid long drive,
Yeah. Well, it would be one of these things where, after Daytona, just go straight to your house kind of thing. But we'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good event. Whether people attend in person or people attend on the interwebs, I think it's a good chance to raise a lot of good money for a lot of good organizations. So,
and if there's anybody who has something they want to add to the auction, be it a voucher for your whatever you have for sale in the coming months, shirts, whatever, let us know. Because even for the Get Buzz for Buzztails thing, I think they're still looking for stuff. So the auctions are live there, but we're gonna need some stuff. We're not trying to do a blowout, and have 200 items like we had with Southeast Carpet Fest. But you know, a decent amount still. Like I don't want to just do like 5 things. I'd like to have you know, make it good.
Sure, 100%. I actually I was talking to Billy about shirts and everything this morning. So what I'll do is I was trying to think of something that I could donate for the RPI event. And what I'm going to do is I'll put together a package of the Netflix Initiative, the Snakes and Stogies, and the THN, and we'll do all 3 shirts in one bundle with a bunch of vinyl decals.
And so, and with the raffle for the Snakes and Stogies raffle this month, we have some snakes, and with this design, we have decals. So obviously, you know, some of those will be thrown in too. So
cool. Yeah. So it'll be good, man. I'm excited. You've been watching Cody's videos of them making the crock bonds?
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
I'm excited to see that, man. Because so the plan is I've been trying to actually coordinate this for a couple months now, is doing like a feature article in the magazine on them and that, but they want to wait until they're, you know, all that stuff is done so that can be included.
Of course.
Because I'll jet down there and take pictures myself and everything, you know.
Right.
Who knows what we'll do as far as like the cover goes. So the thing that we did with Mike Clarkson on the cover of the issue before last, that was we did that as kind of a test to see if that changed anything, you know, if that garnered any more interest in that in particular, because there was someone in the industry on the cover.
Right.
Or if maybe we should just stick to animals, like we were kind of playing around with things a little bit and trying some stuff. So I don't know if that's what I'll do with the RPI thing or not, but
yeah, who knows, man? You might get a bomb ass photograph of Bothriechis, and that goes up there. You know, who knows?
Well, it's nice because I've been down there enough times, and I'm pretty much cool enough with them now too that, you know, they're like, take pictures of whatever you want. You know, obviously I'm not opening cages to, you know, Bothrops or anything like that or anything crazy, but like the smaller stuff, you know, I can open up and take some pictures and do what I need to do and be done. So hey, there's Mike Cuppins. Mike wants to know if you have any eggs in the incubator.
He must have. His ears were ringing.
He wants to know if you got a bun in the oven.
Or a whole clutch of them. Dude, isn't it crazy how, like, we're so interactive with our friends and followers and listeners? Like, we're just talking about Mike, and then boop, there he goes. Hey, what's up, everybody? Like, that's just great feeling. Great feeling. Love all you guys. Especially Mike and all of his fish that he tries to shove into Fiji bottles.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you, bro.
That damn Jason Keller.
Oh, dude, that damn Jason Keller. Will you please breed those freaking cobras already? I got money burning a hole in my pocket, pal.
We need to get him on the show.
We do. Who's on Thursday?
I have to talk and see if Roy is still free. If not, we may have to find someone on the fly.
Okay.
Maybe Bill again. Full snake eggs, not his.
That's all right. Hey, it's something, right? You know. Bill, are you still there? Join us on the dark side.
We'll just be on standby in case. Like, I'll talk to Roy tomorrow and see, and if not, then we'll go from there. I'll go ahead and ask you and the people that join us week to week and the people that listen to the show, given all the network action that's been going on, you know, with NPR and stuff, there have been times where I've contemplated proposing to our very good friend Bill Bradley about adding Lizard Brain to THN if he's so interested.
My vote would be to ask him. I'm for it. Just saying. I think it would bring another beautiful dynamic to our network.
He says he needs him some Indian pond turtles and some paddocks. Podocs?
Well, let me know when you want the.
What's a podoc? Not paddock, right?
I have no idea what podocs are. But the Hamiltoni, if you're ready, let me know. I'll see if I can get some through the pipeline legitimately across state lines.
I guess, I mean, if Bill's open to it, he can message me. We could talk about it. But I think the only sort of hurdle is like the logistics of file sending and getting that done and uploaded and, you know, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the network thing's getting crazy, especially over there in the NPR world, man. Burke's like put in a freaking overdrive.
Yes. Doing a hell of a job. And for those of you who did not listen to the Field Herbing podcast,
dude, it was awesome. So good.
You need to listen to it because there are certain segments narrated by yours truly.
Like he sent me the teaser for that like a couple weeks before it went out, and I was like glued to it. And so when it just ended, I was confused. Like I was like, is the file broken? Is it buffering? Like what's going on? And I played it back. Like I went back like 30 seconds to see maybe that would help it along. And that was it. Yeah. It was like 26 minutes. And I was like, fuck, man. I was like really into it. And I'm like laying in bed, like listen to it. Like, man, this is crazy.
And dude, like
it's like shit. I want to see the whole thing.
We love fangirling over Iper, and like his segment is just so good. And dude, what got me was because like I knew what the segments were because I was narrating a lot of it. And when you hear that Western music come on, like that Spanish guitar, and I was like, oh my God, it's Jake's segment. Oh my God, it's Jake's segment. Oh my God. And like the cowboy music intensifies and then you hear Jake telling his part. Oh man.
Yeah, man.
That was so good. So good. Yeah, Burke hit it out of the park, man.
I mean, hey, God bless him. He puts so much more work into those shows than I do any of the things we're doing here.
Yeah. And like people don't realize this, but that Field Herbing podcast, that one episode, it took him a very, very long time to choreograph that episode. And you can definitely hear it in the show. You can hear how it was choreographed appropriately. It took time, it took passion. And
he puts a ton. I don't think people really fully. I mean, maybe I understand it more and have a better appreciation for it because I know what all is involved in having to go through and cut and move and adjust and like.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy for that shit. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, the reason I don't edit these podcasts is because I hate. There's nothing more tedious than going through and having to listen to an entire like 2.5 hour conversation you just had and cutting out 3-second pauses, 5-second pauses, moving them all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like it's just not happening.
He sent me a screenshot when he was editing pieces. And again, it's just audio. There's no video. But you can see the scrubber bar, right? And he has all the levels of the scrubber bar. And dude, there was like 15 lines.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap. Like, because it's just like, it was just literally him just holding the phone up, just going like, of the computer screen. And man, like, I give him mad props. Mad props.
Like I said,
I couldn't do it.
I think I'll do it if it's something that needs to go. Like if it's like the intro, like the first 5 minutes of this is nothing but silence or the music that has now been flagged for copyright on the past couple episodes.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's why I made it silent this time because I keep getting this little notification. It's like flagged for copyright. It's not going to do anything. It just can't be monetized, which is fine because I don't qualify for monetization anyways. I don't give a shit.
Right.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought that music was royalty free.
I thought so too. It was on Canva, so
interesting. Not. And you pay for Canva, so that's.
I do.
Did you use Canva to make that?
Yep.
So then that's horseshit. Yeah.
It could be. I mean, it's probably YouTube. It ain't even any other party. It's just YouTube who's like, yeah, we don't. You can't do this. So.
Yeah.
Whatever, but that I cut out. You know, and I literally like I just slap on the intro, slap on the outro just for the THP episodes. This one just has an intro, but I want to redo the intro. And I want to get like a legitimate intro.
I got you.
I want to pay someone on Fiverr to do like a voiceover thing or something different from THP. So it's just,
what do you want, man? I mean, shit, I'll make it. What do you want?
No, it's got to be someone else. It's got to be a different voice. Third party.
Okay. Well, so we'll get someone. I'll pay someone on Fiverr. Some stranger.
It's cheap.
No, we'll do. We'll get Jeff and Kendra to say exactly the same sentence, and we'll hybridize it so it'll be Gendra.
See, that we kind of have to do now.
It's like Mothra, but scarier. Gendra! Ah! Yeah. But I finished I finally finished the Venomous Etiquette video intro, and it does not sound and look like it was clipped out of Schindler's List, and everyone's going to split their wrists while they listen to it. I'm pleased with it. So part of me wants to show it off, but the other part of me doesn't. I want to just keep it, But yeah, the new intro I think is good. So.
Bill asked, are we trying to compete with NPR since they added the Monitor podcast? No. I like Bill, and I want to get Bill's show in
more people's ears.
Give it the springboard, man.
Yeah.
Plus
110%.
I'm not much of a lizard guy. I have my handful that I like that I've kept in the past, but for the most part, I'm I love listening to Frank Payne's episode with him. That's a great episode. If anybody wants something to check out, go listen to it. It's one of the first episodes I think that he did. Just because Frank's doing some really cool stuff. Like Frank's found his niche, and he's like Padron, man. He knows what he does well, and he does it well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let me know what you want for You want it for THP, or do you want it for Snakes and Stogies? What do you want said?
I don't know.
I will figure out what you want said, and I'll ask some people that I think have a...
Grab the zipper of the guy to your left and pull it down. This is Snakes and Stogies. What?
We're going to do a slogan every episode now? A new slogan every episode? Flies spread disease, so keep yours closed.
I feel like this could go the podcast games route when NPR was competing, quote unquote, with Reptile and Chill. Feats of strength and hilarity ensue. I have no upper body strength. I'm out of shape.
I think the competitiveness between the THN and NPR is not an actual competition. It's helping each other out, because
I think it's we're influencing each other.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I think that we build each other and we blossom from each other. Of course,
influence each other's evolution.
Yeah, 110%. You know what I mean?
I mean, truthfully, I really don't want to have as many shows as Burke has going on. That's just that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
but I'd be happy with adding something else that's not necessarily snake centric, which this is THP is for the most part. We do try to change that up periodically, but
it's at least 50% snake. It is
easily.
Yeah, this is almost 100. Hence the name.
The way the good Lord intended.
Yes, sir. Snakes, love them. So
snakes, stogies, beards.
The finest of life.
Yeah. Bill said, I don't think it's competitive at all. Both crowds push each other. Never heard a negative thing in either direction. Yeah, because, I love those guys, man. 1% Aquatics.
Thanks, Mike.
Damn it.
Fucking
I'm just going to let Cox do his thing and be like, if you want to do alcohol and aquatics, whatever. For love of God, go for it.
I got to be honest. If Cox did alcohol and aquatics, and he did the bourbon and gourami tasting of the week, I think that would kill, bro. It would slay, and we could throw it on here. I just don't want to necessarily be part of it.
I don't.
Be like, let's talk about Enfuma and how they eat all of your tropical fish.
You know what's funny is I mentioned
speaking
doing
of
that
that-
aquaculture magazine. I had a couple people message me and they're like, dude, you should totally do that. And it's like, fuck.
Really?
Now I gotta.
Maybe. So I went out herping the other night with the lady, and we saw an infuma hunting in the rocks, and I couldn't get close enough to get a picture
on land.
No, in the excuse me. So like we went to a bridge out in the middle of the cane fields, middle of nowhere, and what I'll do is I'll park the car on the side of the road and I'll go underneath the bridge, right? And I'll check all the rock crevices and stuff, look for like Nerodia and cottonmouths. And there is almost like a tide, so to speak, in those big heavy canals where they have like the locks and the pump houses. And sometimes it's a little lower than others. And at that time, the water line was a little higher, would normally be dry, were submerged. And sitting on top of a rock in like a little nook was this like 13, 14-inch infuma. And you could see it like doing its thing, like shimmying back and forth. And then it would stop.
Shimmy.
Right? And then I went down, I started climbing down these rocks, and I'm like, I'm going to fall in. This is going to suck. I'm going to be Casey Cannon for a hot second, get eaten by alligator. And I get closer, and I'm finally in range for me to like zoom in with my phone. And I guess my headlight hit the salamander just right. And it was like, oh my God, there's light. Gone.
Yep.
So, but I'd never seen one like chilling hunting before. You know what I mean? Like I've seen them crossing the road, and like I've seen them come up to the surface and like gulp some air and then go back down. But I've never seen one like in its natural hunt mode. So
I know about as much about those as I do aquatic fish. That's kind of a double negative. An aquatic fish. Jesus.
So
I don't understand the appeal, honestly. Like I know Dom has been on a kick with them lately. Clearly, Bill is pumped about them. I don't understand the appeal. To me, they do nothing for me. Like if I saw one out and about, I'd be like, yeah, it's a giant eel frog.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think infumas are awesome. They're predatory. They're just awesome. I like them.
We had some at the nature center that I worked at. We had some, and I mean they were cool, but I was like, they kind of just looked stupid and sat there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch them eat shrimp.
I shared the video of my one buddies, right?
I don't think so.
All right, here, I'll share that real quick. Hold on a second. Let's pull this up. And Fayuma videos. What the hell is this? It was a while ago. All right, share screen. Unfortunately, Justin has stepped away from the console and therefore will not be able to share my screen just yet. All right. So Bill says that he has a group of 3-toads and fumas. He says there's a 2-toed group on Morph Market that he wants. What do they even go for these days, Bill? I mean, I don't even know what they cost. But all right, can you share that? There we go. So this one is, I believe, a 2-toed. And this animal, this is a 20-gallon long, just to give you an idea how big the tank is.
Aqua penis.
That's an earthworm.
Yep.
And I love just like how it flows out the gills. It's awesome.
Look at that little crawdad watching him like, bruh. How could you? I've heard those things can bite the shit out of you.
Oh, yeah. Savages, dude. And, like, I mean, they'll take down, like, if you put, like, a live rat pup in there, that thing would suck that thing underwater and just consume it.
They just make me think of electric eels. I don't know, man.
Yeah, except you won't get shocked.
I love the crawdads, though. See, look. That thing's like... That thing's stupid. I bet you their vision sucks.
So this is a slow motion. Yeah. That way you can see the gills, you know, pump out the water.
You know what's funny to me is that someone devoted their life to these creatures. It's like you could have picked something a little cooler.
I think they're cool, man. And of course, this video is forever because it's slow motion. My apologies. But I should have fast forwarded. It was so much faster in real time. But I just love how, like, look, he puffs his neck out like that. He's like, can I eat this? Should I eat this? Maybe I will. I don't know.
Freaking earthworm's like, what's happening?
Yeah, right? I'm so hydrated. I'm so hydrated, bro.
I just love the crawdads in the background.
Oh, there we go.
Wishing they could get a piece.
Yeah.
Jesus. It's smoking it.
Right? And you'll see the gills. See how the debris and worm guts pop out the back of the gills? Or whatever those things are. It's awesome.
Their stupid ass legs.
Vestigial. So I think they're cool.
The king of the aquatic jungle. Everyone's giving him his space, saying don't fuck with Santiago. It is even more weird that mud snakes feed on those exclusively, almost.
Yeah, right? It's crazy. And our good friend Mike sent me a video of him at work. And I felt like I should share it because it's really cool. Hold on a second. Let's cue this up. All right. Facebook. There it is. There you go, Justin. So this is our man Mike, Chondro Mike, doing what he does at work. And that is super cool. Like, hell of a job, right? How awesome.
You know, helicopters are a big no for me.
That's not what I wanted to show you. That's what I wanted to show you.
I don't know. I'm not a heights guy. So
it's pretty awesome, though.
I mean, it's cool, but helicopters are scary as shit, especially after the whole Kobe thing.
Yeah. So you're saying you don't want to dangle from one?
Not unless I absolutely have to. If it's like a Die Hard situation.
A Die Hard situation is the only one you would concede.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, Mike, thank you so much for sharing that, brother. I think it's awesome. Love seeing our animal people in their natural element. I love it.
You know what it makes me think of?
What?
Hold on. Let me share it. The lady spinning in the person spinning in the basket that was getting rescued. Did you ever see that?
Mm-mm.
For real?
No.
A 74-year-old woman.
And
I mean,
she's
I
in
don't
that
know.
red thing.
I thought it was hilarious. I'm sure it wasn't all that funny at the time. Give it a second.
So she's in that thing?
Yep.
Oh my God.
It just gets faster and faster.
God. It's like when your yo-yo string gets twisted and you just let holy shit. Oh my God, that poor woman. That poor woman. Oh my God. How does that happen? Oh man.
They just take off. They're like, we can't do anything. Just start moving, dude.
Oh my God, what a wild ride. Oh, poor woman. Imagine seeing that after the fact. Oh my God. But that's
hey,
literally
Darren,
it
how's it
reminds
hanging?
me. Yeah, right? It reminds me of when your yo-yo string gets twisted and you just let the yo-yo hang at the bottom and it just starts to spin out of control. Oh my God.
Bob Evans said, "Wee."
Oh man.
Like I said, I shouldn't laugh at that as much as I do. Every time I see that video, I just start cracking up because you,
Oh
like,
yeah.
can you imagine?
God.
You're like getting rescued, and then all of a sudden you're like a freaking Beyblade in the air.
Legit. Oof. Oof. Oh well. On that note, we're at 2:32, my friend.
We are.
We are.
Man. I'm going to watch that
Glad we
again
can.
before I go to bed, and Katie's going to wonder why I'm laughing so hard. She's probably going to get pissed and be like, go to bed. Go to sleep.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm glad we could end on a hilarious note at some poor old woman's expense.
She'll be all right. She's okay.
Yeah,
Probably.
Probably.
A little dizzy, but. All right. This show was brought to you by Puget Sound Pythons. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I don't think they posted a video in a while, but they do have a YouTube channel with some videos on it. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Definitely worth checking out. Clearly, they have some, they're in full swing with baby season. They got some pop ones recently. I think that was last week.
Yeah. Yep.
Got blood eggs on the ground, which I didn't even realize they had bloods. I feel like every week they're like an onion, man. Every layer.
Layers.
So check out. So J Babies, aka Vic Loriano, is in the chat. We just had our last episode of THP was with Vic, so be sure to check that out. And 2 elderly were harmed in the making of this podcast. No elderly were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Yes, of course. Of course. Thanks, Bob. So, yeah. Oh, it's horrible. I can't wait to show people that.
I'll send you the link.
Please do. Please do. And we'll see you guys Thursday night. Well, we won't see you, but you'll hear us.
We'll be in your ears.
Pumping out them brain powers.
If we have Roy on, I'm very excited about that episode because Roy does some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So
that'll be good. That'll be good.
It'll be good regardless of who we have on, but
exactly.
Not to pat ourselves on the back too hard, but anyways, everyone have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night, Moon.
Good night, Moon. A comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush.